So, do you feel if Modi comes back into power, do you feel something like Doklam can happen again?
Chinese will try to repeat Doklam or Galwan again because last time we lost our 20 soldiers and they lost 43. But
So, do you think that post 2024 elections, if Modi comes back in power, we might see POK with India integrated?
see, personally, if you ask me, I am not in favor of reclaiming Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir. For 2024, if you see the opinion polls right now, the Biden's popularity is going down.
Yeah.
Inversely, Trump's popularity is going up. But the problem with Trump is only Trump can defeat himself. A threatening Trump is much better than a dicey Biden who will stab you on the back.
So if you are interested in geopolitics, then this is the video for you. Today we have been joined by Mr. Umesh Agarwal, who is a geopolitical expert and also who predicted 2 years ago that there will be a new COVID variant just before the elections. So let's try and understand how he did that and his perspective towards India's relationship with the world. Before you go to the video, I would urge you guys to please watch this whole video. I know the video is long, so you can watch it in 1.5x or 2x, and also request you guys to please subscribe our channel. See you guys on the other end. That Mr. Umesh ji, I'm really thankful to you that you have joined us today. I'm really glad you are here. So, sir, let's not waste any time. Let me put up you the first question. So, 2 years back, you wrote an article predicting that there will be a new variant of the COVID just before the 2024 elections in India. And you predicted it very finely, and now we see a new variant called JN.1. How did you do that?
Rahul, we know that China is the godmother. There's a fountain spring of all the virus which is happening right around the world. It started from the SARS-CoV virus, SARS virus, which was there in 2000 itself during the earlier versions. Okay, and right now in 2020, we know that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was involved in gain on hand function in which the funds were provided by the United States to carry out some sort of virus research at Wuhan Institute of Virology. And we know that as soon as the virus was detected and it was transmissible from animal to human and human to human, then entire the Chinese what they do, they locked their entire city, but they allowed overseas travel. So we know that China is complicit in the crime. And you will be shocked to know that China, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, has opened a center for testing in Pakistan. They have around
Hmm.
4,000 pathogens. They are testing live right now. So imagine India is a common enemy of Pakistan and China. So if both of these countries are combining to each other, then they are bound to release a virus just before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections to scare the Indian people to ensure that Narendra Modi does not come to power in 2024, and they want Congress to come. And we know that Congress and CCP have a pact since 2008. And last year, 2 to 3 years back, also, we know repeatedly that India's opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi, goes and meets Chinese envoy regularly outside in Nepal, in Thailand. So media reports have come up like that. So this was like anybody's guess that I believe that in 2023 December it would definitely come. And as I see, we can see the new variant has already come, and I believe that but we don't need to worry about it. Right now we are
Hmm.
vaccinated, and we have and this our vaccine is able to even cure the future variants. Okay, like the
Hmm.
mRNA vaccine, which has been developed by Moderna and Pfizer, which only caters to that particular variant. Indian vaccine takes care of the future variants as well. So yes, certainly there will be a scaremongering which will be happening in the from the Chinese funded media in India, but you don't need to worry about that.
Wow, great. So, sir, while you were putting up your point, you did mention that Rahul Gandhi, visited different places out of India. My question is, this is very bizarre to me because if you would have noticed, each time Rahul Gandhi went outside India, some unrest did happen in India. supposedly, if you say that farmers protest, while the day farmer protests happen, before that he went out of India. So whenever he goes out of India, some unrest happens in India. Do you see some correlation into this?
See, this is a common knowledge that the farmers protest, and even before in 2021, if you see the vandalization that happened at the Red Fort during the Republic Day, and even
Mhm.
other organized protests which is happening in India, they are being funded by the Chinese. They are being funded by the Chinese Communist Party. They want to create unrest in India. There was an attack on the plant of Flextronics as well in Bangalore, and they don't to try scuttle, and they want to scuttle India as a next alternative supply destination. So this is common. China will do everything what they believe they can do to harm India, not directly by the non-state actors. They fund the urban actions in India. They have the academicians, they have the media, they have the film stars on the payroll who has mass influence. So some sort of psychological warfare, psychological operations they do to create an unrest by building a perception that not all is not well in India. I would like to add one more thing. There was a movie called
Yes.
Dangal. If you just check out, the movie grossed 1,300 crores in China, but the movie collection in India was around 600 crores. So even Bollywood gets the money from China to fund all sorts of anti-national activities. And these urban nexus, they go to Turkey and say that India is not safe.
Hmm. Okay, so my point is 2024 is the election year for Indians, right? For all of us. Do you see some kind of foreign powers meddling into our elections in order to, someone like George Soros, who literally in public said that he would be putting up his money to remove Modi. So do you think something like that would happen in our elections too?
It has been already happening, Rahul. You only stated that there was a farm protest. They were organized protests, which is happening. What are these? These are all protests which has been funded by George Soros. George Soros, and if you see the close associate of George Soros, were there with Rahul Gandhi in the Bharat Jodo Yatra. The dots are very much clear. And right now, I feel that George Soros has actually made up his mind that his money has been lost. So, and one more
Hmm.
thing you have to realize is the Indian masses, they know what is happening. Okay, they are not going to fall for the prey. If George Soros can spread organized, he can spread misinformation through the Chinese funded media in India. There are lots of
Hmm.
people, there are lots of committed volunteers who are trying to dispel the notion. The democratization of information, which happened through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through Twitter, has actually exposed this person. So that's why we are very well informed what is happening. And certainly, any country will definitely like to have a compliant administration. Interest is being taken care of. You also know that Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi traveled in 2008 for Beijing Olympics, and they have signed pact with Chinese
Hmm.
Communist Party. So what? And they have donated around $200,000 to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation as well. So it's very clear. So everybody would like to have the compliant administration, and it's not new. Even if you see in 2016 U.S. presidential election, people say that was even rigged. And later in India also, if you have noticed, there was Cambridge Analytica, which was exposed. They were
Yeah.
trying to they were trying to pop up unrest in India using social media, and it was directed against the government. So it's nothing
Hmm.
new. So everybody will try to do sort of a covert operation to install a pro-compliant government of their choice at the helm to further their interest.
Wow. So as we are talking about China and we are entering into 2024, keeping all these things in mind, what do you think our relations would look like in 2024 post elections with China?
See, the realization will have to come for the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping. Right now, I believe that this guy, Xi Jinping, recently traveled to Vietnam. And we know that
Hmm.
in 1979, there was a war between Vietnam
Hmm.
and China. and Vietnam defeated China comprehensively. And Vietnam right now is a preferred destination for alternative supply instead of China.
mm,
Many of the Chinese industries are moving into Vietnam. And
mm,
certainly, I would see that
mm,
someday we will realize that challenging India in the near term, it's not in the best interest. So they might not climb down because it will be loss of face, but certainly they would maintain the status quo and let the issue be just as it is, and it will silently calm down. And maybe they might go for infrastructure at the border also. They are ramping up the infrastructure, and we are also ramping up. See, the Chinese
mm,
troops are stationed in the border.
mm,
What India
mm,
is doing right now is they are actually building roads, bridges, and they have built around 9 bridges across Brahmaputra in Arunachal Pradesh in the last 8 to 9 years. So lot of
mm,
border work is going on
mm,
in terms of bridges, roads, infrastructure for movement of heavy artillery in at a very quick pace. So this is actually a boon in disguise. If the Chinese are stationed there at the border, it has given the impetus to uplift the infrastructure at the border. So I
mm, of
believe that this
course.
is just like an investment that India is
Mm,
doing,
of
and it was
course.
long due and it was long warranted for connecting those remote areas to the mainland through better
Mm,
connectivity and roads. You should have seen tunnels being
mm,
built across Himachal in Jammu and Kashmir. They are connecting each other, the longest tunnel and
mm,
everywhere. You should have seen. So
yeah.
this is actually good if the Chinese are stationed there.
Yeah.
Let them be there. Our guys are very much adapting to adapt to the situation. The Chinese soldiers
Mm,
are not so good, and they would definitely will retreat
mm.
silently.
So, do you feel if Modi comes back into power, do you feel something like Doklam can happen again?
Chinese will try to repeat Doklam or Galwan again because last time we lost our 20 soldiers and they lost 43. But then they say that they have lost 24, but it is actually 43. So, and India did not even use the full force. If India had
Mm,
used the full force and other things, the casualties would have been higher. And they
mm,
understand that fighting the salami slicing will not work, and they would like to maintain the status quo, and they would certainly try to pop up Pakistan against us rather than directly getting involved in a fight with India.
mm. Very well put. So, sir, as you mentioned Pakistan, let me come to Pakistan now. So recently, I read a news where it was mentioned that Pakistan is trying to build a nuclear submarine, whereas we see news where we see that Pakistan is almost at the verge of an economic collapse. So these two things don't go hand in hand. How do you see it?
Pakistan is on the verge of economic collapse because it is building weapons. They are
Mm,
selling
mm,
weapons. They are selling weapons in to Ukraine. They are selling weapons to Hamas. So certainly they will be getting some technology for building nuclear submarines. If we are building submarines, they will definitely do that. So we should not be surprised. What we can see is the rapid deterioration of law
mm,
and order in Pakistan. Internal riots are happening. The Balochistan Liberation Movement fighters are killing Pakistan army. Large swaths of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are not
mm,
in their
mm.
control. So Pakistan is moving ahead as a failed state. It might become a Somalia of Asia in the days to come.
Hmm. So you must have heard like there was TTP before, right? The Taliban flag of Pakistan. Though they were there, and now there is another such organization named Taliban Jihad, something like that, right? So they are also becoming a threat to Pakistan. So if what do you think? Because even our union minister, our home minister, comes and says in the parliament about talks about POK. Union ministers have started talking about POK. So do you think that post 2024 elections, if Modi comes back in power, we might see POK with India integrated?
See, personally, if you ask me, I'm not in favor of reclaiming Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So,
Mm,
what the reason is 70 years these people have been radicalized, and they know that right now the economic situation in India is better. So they are coming back to India. So this is welcoming fact, but our population, who are the current Indian population, they should be the beneficiary of the economic growth.
True.
These people have been taking all sort of help from the Pakistani government, and they have been used and they have been using us, using the resources to bleed us. If they want to join India, definitely they can become a part of India, but they will not be having any per se in the decision making process. They can become a
Hmm.
satellite state of India, and India
Exactly.
can govern them. But choosing of representatives and other things, strictly I am against it. They should not be given any voting rights, any the rights to elect the representatives. They can be as a dominion of India, where India will be definitely taking care of them, provided we gain from them rather than feeding them.
Hmm.
I'm being very focused and I'm very transactional. It should be mutually beneficial, in which they should be realizing that they would have to contribute if they want to receive.
No, I mean, like, your point of view is totally, it's very practical in nature, because if you will ask me also, the population is radicalized, as you also mentioned. And even I would prefer them to become a satellite state rather than becoming a integral part of India in that manner. But just for our viewers, would you mind giving a brief about what is satellite state, so that they understand what we are talking about?
The satellite state means that they will be in the control of India. India will take care of everything. They will have to generate their own revenue. They should be a transaction of goods. They will be using Indian currency. India will be governing the foreign policy. Indian forces will be stationed in their territory, but they will not have right to elect representatives for certain time. Like they need to have around 20 to 25 years. They need to be under Indian occupation for
Hmm.
them to get de-radicalized. And also one more thing, we will have to settle for people from other parts of India into Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir, so that the demography also changes. So that
Hmm.
one fine day they cannot say that we want to be independent again. So India have to do the multiple things before granting them full access for being part of India.
Hmm. Hmm, great. So let's move further to the east and let's talk about Russia Ukraine, right? So it's been almost 2.5 years. It's going to be 2 years, 2.5 years now. So how do you see it unfolding, the war which is there between Russia and in 2024? Do you think that we might see a conclusion of the war?
See, Russia-Ukraine war is actually beneficiary for both Russia and it is beneficiary for both United States. It's a 22 months long war. It started right after the Winter Olympics, after the Beijing Winter Olympics was completed, like
Hmm.
20th February 2022.
Hmm.
And if you see, this has been continuing for the past 2 years. The direct beneficiary has been Russia, which has been able to sell its oil in the international market and become the larger one of the largest exporter. And second one is United States. What or United States has done is they have blown out the pipeline, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which supplies gas from Russia to Germany. And
Hmm.
now the Europe is being forced to buy LPG gas, the liquefied petroleum gas, in tankers from exported from United States at a higher price. So that's
Hmm.
why the European economy is in recession. So Europe is paying the cost of this war, and it is beneficial for both Russia and United States. So this is a pre-scripted war in which both Putin and Biden are making a lot of money, and you can see the American deep state, the American arm industry are making a lot of money. They have increased their profits. You can see Raytheon, Northern Grum shares, they have just skyrocketed. And also, BlackRock owns around 30% of Ukrainian agricultural land. These are
Hmm. Wow.
fertile land.
Wow, wow, very interesting. So let's talk about Europe in context of Russia and Ukraine, right? We somehow we know that France and Germany tilt towards Putin sometimes because they are also going through a economic crisis. So do you feel that uh, countries of Europe like France and Germany might have some kind of a tussle with USA when it comes to the war and stuff, because they are the people who are suffering, as you also mentioned, economically. So how do you feel? What would you? How would Europe react? if this war won't come to a conclusion? What will be their reaction?
Rahul, first of all, I would give you one context.
Yes.
Last year,
Yes.
the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated.
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
he wanted to have an independent foreign policy, and he was advocating that in the Japan should come out of the shadows of the US in terms of foreign policy. And right now, you could see that he was mysteriously killed and is assassinated. And right now, Japan is continuing to be the satellite state of United States. Similarly, Angela Merkel was a very strong woman and she was a very good leader, but she was replaced. Now Olaf Scholz is there. He does
mm,
not have
mm,
that clout. Macron definitely says that Europe should have its own army. They should try to raise the resources and other things. But who is listening to them? Remember, France is the only European power apart from UK to have a nuclear weapons. They have a full-fledged arms industry which is actually competing with the Americans. You
mm.
could see the
Very
AUKUS
true.
deal, in
Yes.
which the Australian actually they shelved the contracts with France in favor of United States and UK.
Mm. Very true. So moving on, 26th of January is coming, and Macron is being invited by India. There were a bit of rumors that Biden wanted an invite from the Indian government, but somehow it didn't happen. So, what is the significance behind Macron's entry into the picture?
First of all, India had invited Joe Biden. They invited Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. They invited Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida collectively for the Quad Summit and being a chief guest of honor at a Republic Day parade. But
Mm,
seems
mm,
that United States is not interested to further the agenda of Quad. They want to. They have made a Quad as a laughing stock. They don't want any sort of alliance which can take over, which can take on China right now, because they want to control India, and India just does not like. India does not want to surrender its sovereignty to US interests. They will take care of their own interests right now. Macron coming as chief guest of at the Republic Day parade, it is very much significant. You know, right now, 26 Rafale jets have been ordered by the Navy, and also the
yeah,
three
yeah.
submarines. The submarine contract is also going to be inked when he is going to travel. And
Mm,
one more
mm,
thing you have to realize is there was a talk about the aircraft engine technology, which France is going to share with India. Safran is the name of that engine. The Safran company is tying up with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to produce and co-develop Safran the engine, the fighter jet engine in India. And earlier, GE also had inked the pact, but 6 months down the line, nothing has happened. In June, we
mm,
had signed a pact with the United States, but today is December. Hardly anything has happened in 6 months. And if you see, the Prime Minister of India went to France, and he was given the highest honor by the French president. He was, I don't remember the name of the thing. It was honor of Legion or something. And
mm, mm,
similarly, by inviting Macron as a guest of honor, it is actually good for India, because India is going to also uh, announce another proposal, request for proposal for purchasing 114 multi-mode MMRCA. This is multi-mode, I think, fighter aircraft something. It is 114 numbers will be there, and this will be the mother of all deals. And
mm,
in
mm,
most likelihood, I think that Rafale is going to win this contract, and this and all these aircrafts will be co-produced in India with Hindustan
mm,
Aeronautics Limited, and they will be made in India. And also one more thing, the future Rafale fighter jets, which are meant for export, will also be produced in India. India will
wow,
become the
wow.
hub of maintenance, repair, and overhauling initially. Then we are going for research, co-development, and finally we would be having our own technology as well. So the entire ecosystem is coming up. So
Hmm.
Americans will definitely come up after after the French president comes and go. Definitely Americans will come up. Right now, there is a problem in the American establishment. The left wing lobby,
Hmm.
the left wing Sharia, the left wing Zamaat lobby is trying to scuttle any defense deals, and they don't like cooperation. But the defense lobby wants to have that cooperation with India. But if you see, the we will have, apart from defense, we definitely have moved forward in the space field. NASA and ISRO
Hmm.
are going to have set up as are going to collaborate in sending satellites, and they have formed something like a code. They have formed an agency known as NASA and ISRO, NISA or something. So certainly
Okay.
something is happening uh, in the space tech as well. Space, we are definitely cooperating right now.
So as you mentioned Rafale into the and brought Rafale into the picture, you must be aware that UAE has also ordered for Rafale, and there are some noises around that the flights, the Rafales which are being sold to or which are going to be given to UAE will be manufactured in India. So how do you see it?
Simple, you need to invest in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
That was very cheeky. Yeah. Okay. So now, yeah. So let's go to the West now, right? Uh, how about USA and India relations? Before that, we come to India and USA relations. I would like to ask, like, recently, Chinese, Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, went to USA, and he probably was taken aback when he saw that he was not being treated the way he would have thought. So how do you see it, the USA China relationship, the Chinese premier going to USA? Why would he go there? He was someone who is being told that he's been said that he's an arrogant man. He would not like to go to another countries like this, especially USA. And then he goes to USA. So how do you see it?
See, it was just a customary visit, and he went to San Francisco, and certainly there were some talks, and I think so. They have outlined the modalities of cooperation in for the next 1 year, in which USA would have said that to the Chinese to continue hold the US Treasury bonds, because Chinese are dumping US Treasury bonds right now. They are holding something like $800 billion. Around 5 to 6 years
Hmm.
back, the figure was
Hmm.
around $1.4 trillion. So every now and then
Wow.
the Chinese are dumping US dollars. They want to weaken the dollar. So there must be some talk regarding this. And second, the Chinese have also threatened that they would be attacking Taiwan, and they will be making it as a part of China. So US should have warned them that they should avoid all these things. So these are all some customary talks. They have the trade relations also. So there are this is lot of comprehensive issues are there. So sometimes down the line, the dialogues were stopped after the former speaker, I don't remember the lady's name, she went to Taiwan.
Hmm.
These were freeze.
Hmm.
Now again it has started. The dialogue has started. So you can see that after the dialogue has started, the U.S. president did not find time to visit India for the Quad.
Hmm.
So this
Hmm.
is the give and take they do, and we know that USA is known to dump its allies for its own interest. So it's better that India also takes care of the interests. They should not believe the United States. If they come, fine. Otherwise, we should be self-reliant in what we want to achieve, and we should even try to what. And one more thing, United States wants India to have a fight against Iran, which India has
Hmm.
conveniently avoided. You
Hmm.
can see in the last 2 days, two Indian ships were attacked, but people say these rockets were not fired from the Iranian territories. They were fired from Pakistani or something territory to force India to join a war against Iran, the Houthi
Hmm.
rebels, and also
Hmm.
jeopardize India's relation with the Middle East. USA wants India to be
Hmm.
dependent on them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
USA, so
Hmm.
being a friend with the USA is also fatal. The enemy of the USA is also not good for us. So we have to maintain an equidistance, and we have to be very clear in our dealings.
So, as 2024 is the election year for both USA and India, how do you see the relationships going forward between these two countries? Because you don't know whether Biden will continue or not. Trump might come back, and so how do you see 2024 panning out for USA and India?
2024, if you see the opinion polls right now, the Biden's popularity is going down.
Yeah, yeah.
Inversely, Trump's popularity is going up. But the problem with Trump is only Trump can defeat himself. So unless and until the November comes, I will not be. In most likelihood, I think Trump should return, provided he knows what to speak, what not to speak. But Trump is very good for the world peace. He means business. He is very clear. He's transactional. During the COVID times, he even threatened India that if you don't provide us with hydrochloroquine, we would ban you.
Hmm.
Okay. So a threatening Trump is much better than a dicey Biden who will stab you on the back.
Wow.
So the Republicans are transactional. They know they will demand things from you, but they will deliver also. But the
Hmm.
Democrats, but many experts do not agree with me. But I believe the Democrats are very dicey. We have to be very careful because the leftist and the jihadi influence is there in the Democrat-led government,
Hmm.
and they take and the Democrats are known to serve the interest of the U.S. deep state rather than U.S. State itself. So
Hmm.
it's better that Republicans are there. It's in the best interest of America, and it's in the best interest of the world. It's in the best interest of India as well. And I would definitely like Vivek Ramaswamy to be the running mate with Donald Trump as the
Yeah.
vice president because he speaks a similar language, and Mike Pompeo to be the deputy to both of them.
Hmm.
Secretary of State, I think he was previously in the Trump administration. Similar thing. So the Trinity will work well, and they will ensure world peace. They will stop all the war which is going on right now, and they will try to build peace process and stability will return to the world. Probably,
Hmm.
if the probably the stability will be very much achieved in a shorter duration of time.
Hmm. So, do you really think that Vivek has a shot, or you want him to become the deputy of, president for Trump?
I want him to become the vice president of America. I want him to demonstrate that he has the intent. He needs to get the approval of the whites. Definitely, if he shows the intent, if he shows that he cares for America, the Americans will accept him. And being as a deputy to Trump, it's good right now. And rather than challenging Trump, it's better that he becomes his running mate. It's
Hmm.
in the best interest of America. It's in the best interest of the world. It's in the best interest of India.
So, hypothetically speaking, if Trump returns, do you think it will affect the Russia-Ukraine war? Do you think somehow that will stop if Trump returns?
It will definitely affect. It will stop the war altogether
Wow.
because the Americans' arm industry will be they would be definitely expecting Trump to come, and they would be in another 1 year they will be profiting from the war at the cost of U.S. taxpayers.
Hmm. True. So now let's come to the Middle East. We are seeing the Israel-Palestine conflict, and we are still not seeing any conclusion. Though Netanyahu is very confident of flattening Hamas, destroying Hamas. How do you see the conflict go in 2024?
See, this Israel-Palestine conflict, I believe, is a scripted one because somewhere down the line, I believe that someone in the Netanyahu administration deliberately did not act on the mass buildup which had happened previously. I cannot believe that Mossad did not have the hint of what Hamas was doing. Okay, when they have the spy satellites and everything.
Hmm.
And since our October 7th, we saw how Gaza was flattened. And the clear intent of Israel is they want to occupy Gaza. They want to displace the entire population. They want to displace the entire population into the Sinai Peninsula. They want Egypt and Jordan to accept Gaza as their citizens. And even from the West Bank, they want Lebanon to accept the people from the West Bank as the citizens. So this is a clear-cut agenda, and and the state of Palestine cannot exist. They can only operate under the supervision of Israel. This is what I believe. And
Hmm.
if you see the Israeli population, 73% consist of Jews, 18% consist of Muslims, 9% consist of Christians. So the Arabs, the Muslims who are the citizens, Arabic Muslims who are the citizens of Israel, are living peacefully there. So certainly, why can't the Palestinian accept the Israel sovereignty and they can become a part of the Israel and they can coexist rather than uh, carrying on the agenda of Iran that we will wipe out the Israel from the face of earth and other things. And certainly, this conflict actually helps America because they can sell arms to both sides of the aisle. They are protecting Qatar, and Qatar, you know, is one of the largest arms buyer of US. And
Hmm.
Qatar supplies, Qatar funds Hamas, which is against Israel, and Israel is a close ally of US. So it's all intricate and intertwined with each other. So there is a CIA element in this. Definitely, it is there. US is scripting the war according to their according to what
Hmm.
suits them well, and certainly they want other countries to come up so that the entire Middle East is destabilized. And right now, if you see, one of the largest producer of oil is United States, more
Hmm.
than even Russia and Saudi Arabia. So any increase in the oil is actually beneficial to American oil companies as well. They are profiting from the plants, refinery plants, which they are operating in Iraq and other places. So this war economy helps the United States a lot. So I don't think so. Anytime sooner it's going to stop, unless this
Hmm.
Biden is being thrown out by the American electorate.
Hmm. Okay, so now let's talk a bit about Qatar. As you also mentioned Qatar, and we know that Qatar is backed by CIA, and now the developments which we have seen against India, which they did, the 6 or 8 Navy men, they took and uh, gave them a death penalty. How do you see that?
I think the this will be resolved very soon. It is just that they need to take some actions, and the Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar is actually working behind the scene, and finally they will be released. This will be resolved very soon because
Hmm.
India is one of the vital energy buyer customer of Qatar. It buys lots of oil and natural gas from them, and seriously, India started buying oil apart from Qatar as well, from Venezuela, from Nigeria. So India is trying to diversify its purchases. They are punishing Qatar for doing this. So invariably, it's a loss for them. That
Hmm.
to the Emirati states, Qatar really wants to antagonize India and lose a valuable customer.
What would be the motive behind this? Why would Qatar do such a thing?
It's all because they need to do it because they everybody wants to be the what do you say the leader of the Islamic world.
Okay.
If you see Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, these four countries are competing against each other to be the part of the global Ummah right now. So in a way, they are trying to project themselves as a hardline state to be the authorized representative of global Ummah. So better target India and score some brownie points to increase their influence. So these are all gimmicks.
But then, why would big players like Saudi and UAE would have better relations with India? Because UAE now is coming up like a very good friend to India. So why is it though?
One thing UAE knows that the better relations with India actually helps their economy. Mohammed bin Salman and Mohammed bin Zayed are forward looking. They are the transformation. They are providing a transformation both Saudi and UAE needs. They understand the value of economic cooperation. They understand that the stability in the Middle East it can be ensured in future growth also with in partnering with India. and the economic cooperation is beneficial to both them as well. And you have to realize that Saudi have understood that they have the reserves left for only for 15 to 20 years.
Hmm.
So after 20 years, they would definitely like to, they would not have any other source of revenue. So they are trying to diversify. They are attracting industries. They are promoting tourism. They are making all sort of things to ensure that, what do you say, that Saudi becomes a preferred investment tourist destination similar to United Arab Emirates.
Hmm. Okay. So now, as we are in the last leg of this podcast, I would ask you the final question, which is about UNSC seat for India. Do you think that is a possibility in 2024 for India?
I don't think so. India is very keen on UNSC anymore because India is having a bilateral relations good with many countries. It has India has emerged as a leader of the global South. In
Hmm.
G20, they ensure that Africa gets that place. They are solidifying the ties. A part definitely being a part in the UNSC is good, but we know that China definitely will not allow India to be part, and they would definitely not try to expand the United Nations Security Council, because if they have to expand, they have to increase the membership. Along with India, Japan is there. Germany also wants. Germany is also the rightful candidate. Then from Africa, I think South Africa is claiming to be the part. From Latin America, Brazil wants to be the part.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
UNSC will have to be expanded from P5 to P10.
Hmm.
And I don't think so. Any of the five powers want to, what do you say? They want to share the
Dilute.
power with. They want to devolve the powers with other five. So this type of deadlock, gridlock helps them.
So if they won't dilute the power, don't you think it will become irrelevant now? Because like 1.4 billion in Indians people are here in India, and they are not getting their voice out there. So don't you think the whole organization will become irrelevant and will ask for a new world order?
See, it's already happening. The UN has become. I think it has become irrelevant right now. It's hardly its resolutions are being talked upon. It's just a customary meet, and nobody is bothered about UN resolutions right now. It has
Hmm.
lost its relevance
Hmm.
unless it reforms and people feel the need. UN is United Nations is practically dead, I believe, at the moment. And somewhere down the line, unless and until after World War III, probably it might come back into life. But before that, it's not going to happen.
Hmm. Great. So, last question. I'm really sorry, but I wanted to put this up as you mentioned that Quad has been made a laughing stock. Then, what do you think about BRICS?
See, BRICS have been expanded from 5 to 10, and if you see the Argentinian president, the new Argentinian president has declared that Argentina will not be part of the BRICS, and Pakistan wants to enter the BRICS, but India has avoided. China is trying to get Pakistan inside. Russia is not saying anything, but because of the
Hmm.
opposition of India, sooner or later, uh, I believe that India will find in a position themselves that they cannot coexist with Pakistan in BRICS. And the
Hmm.
BRICS will have to choose whether they want India or they want to go with a failed state Pakistan. So BRICS have to ensure that whether they want to stay relevant or they want to suffer in chaos and become a Chinese backed group, Chinese dominated, backed, influence group. So India will definitely will not be in BRICS if Pakistan is included. That is very clear. And as you have stated, 17% of the world's population. Do you want them to be out? It's a choice the
Hmm.
BRICS countries has to make.
Perfect. Perfect. I am really thankful, sir. You came here and we had such a great conversation. I hope viewers, you also liked our conversation. If you liked our conversation, do subscribe our channel or hit the like button, and please let us know in the comments if you have any new thoughts coming up about on the topics we should make. I'm really thankful, sir, that you made it here.
Thank
I'm
you.
really
Thank you
thankful.
very
Thank you
much,
so
Rahul.
much.
Thank you.